Hello and welcome to my podcast. Do me a favor, subscribe to the Keim Report. Wherever you get your podcast, you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You can find us there as part of Empire Media. That's AMPIRE. Always much appreciated when you tune in. And don't forget, you can read my work on ESPN.com. I'll have a story up sometime soon, probably over the weekend, on quarterback Sam Howell and the progress that he has made, not just from last year, but through the offseason and what he's done to help himself. The team remains upbeat and excited about what he can do, and they should. The kid's gotten better every step of the way, and there's been no reason to think that that won't continue because it's what he's shown so far. When it happens, how good it'll be, that remains to be seen. But speaking of Howell, he is my guest today. The Commanders quarterback joined me to talk about a little bit about his Korean heritage. He's helping sell a sports drink called Soul Juice, and it's SEOUL Juice. And you can go to souljuice.com to order it. It is a sports drink. So he's going to talk a little bit about that, a little bit about his Korean heritage with his father, who is half Korean, and the influence of his father in his career, because it is Father's Day weekend after all, his grandmother's influence. Also, some of his takeaways from what he saw of himself this spring, a little bit about Eric Bieniemy, and there you go. So stay tuned for that. Before I get there, just a couple things. I'm not going to waste a lot of time here. One, as I'm sure you already know by now, the Josh Harris possible vote will either be, these are two potential dates, would either be July 20th or August 8th. We don't know where, and these are just possible dates. But the fact that we're now getting those obviously is another good sign in this whole process. And I would continue to say when, not if. Anyway, so those are the two possible dates. Don't know where. Still got to figure it all out. But that's where we're going. And, anyway, there we go. You don't need to go more on that. You can follow the rest of that stuff if you want to on ESPN.com or Twitter feed, John_Keim, all that good stuff. Secondly, Hard Knocks. I told you the other day that certainly people in the organization would like to have Hard Knocks here. Still don't know if they've heard from them. I haven't checked in over the last couple of days on that. Other stuff that I've been checking on more, but I know in some cases coaches have come out against it. I think it's, and I'm certain that some coaches probably wouldn't want it, but I think the overall attitude is if they have it here, fine. If they don't, fine. So in other words, I think they'll embrace whichever direction it goes. So we'll see where this all goes. Cody Barton, I brought him up last week talking about how he was running a lot with the twos. And at the time, I wondered if that was as much because they were getting up to speed on the defense. And my understanding is that's exactly what they were doing there with him. And some of that was to help him kind of get up to speed. But also, I think as he's getting up to speed, you don't want to slow down the rest of the starters. So put him in there when he's kind of caught up to speed. And so I think it allowed the starters to work on some things at a certain level. And then you can bring in Barton during training camp. But we'll see where it goes. But that's what I've been, that's the explanation that I received, was more that it was like, hey, just get him up to speed and then get him in there when he's ready and comfortable. So I don't think there's anything to take from him running with the twos this spring, other than he's got to learn the defense and get up to where these other guys are at. Remember, keep in mind, like that defense, all those guys out there, except for the rookies with Forbes and Quan Martin, but mostly with Forbes, they've all played in this defense. So they're all playing at a different speed and can do different things right now. Barton will get to that point, and that's what they wanted to do. So anyways, that's the other thing. And then with Howell, I think one of the things that I think really pleased the coaches throughout the spring is his ability to self-correct. And it's something that I think during the Dallas game, he threw that interception. What some of the coaches liked is that when he came off the field, he knew exactly what he should have done differently on the play. That's what they want to hear. So that's one of the things they really, really like about what they've shown from what he has shown. And then also there are times where that he might be a little bit late on a throw, and which is okay, because this is what you're still learning. And this is the whole process. It's why you practice in the spring. It's why you practice in the summer. But there are a couple of times where he might be late on a throw, but he would get to the right guy eventually. And what they liked is there was one play in the spring where it was like he was looking for the post and he wanted the post, and he took a little bit long to read the backside corner on the play, or excuse me, the backside safety on the play. And if you read it a little bit quicker, you get to the pass he eventually threw to just a split second earlier. Now, the good thing for them is there's two things. One, he read the play well. Excuse me. Two, he still completed the throw. Because of this is where the quick twitch comes into play. It allows you to maybe be a slight half second late, but still recover because it's boom, boom, now you go. That's what he offers. And those are two of the things, the self-correction and then the quick twitch. And like I said, they liked where his decision-making was. I think as he gets more comfortable, some of those decisions will be sped up a little bit more. And then those quick twitch throws can lead to some longer gains or maybe more yards after the catch. Anyways, thought you'd like to know that. So anyway, enough from me. You want to hear from Sam Howell. So let's get to my conversation with Washington Commanders quarterback, Sam Howell.
The adventure park is ziplining through the trees. It's climbing from platform to platform. It's even an axe throwing competition with your friends. But what the adventure park really is opportunity. Reconnecting with friends and family, accomplishing a challenge, and making lasting memories. So book your visit today and choose your own adventure.
All right, Sam, I know you're here, you're doing some work for, I guess it's souljuice.com, and we're going to get into all that in a little bit, in a few minutes. But I do want to talk to you because we're kind of coming up close to Father's Day. And I know your dad was pretty instrumental in your football upbringing. What did he mean to you just, and does, but as, when you're growing up as a coach, as a parent, and how did he help you get to where you are?
Yeah. My dad means everything to me. He's the reason, that I'm playing football. He put a football in my hands when I was a really young kid. And he's coached me at every single level up until college. He coached me when I was playing flag football in kindergarten. He was my coach. And so he's been my coach every step of the way. And he's missed 2 games my whole football career. And that
really?
was both. Yeah, and it was because of COVID year. Some of our away games in college, they weren't allowing any fans, so he couldn't come. But he's meant the world to me. He's so supportive, and he always gives me advice, and I can always rely on him. So he's one of the main reasons I'm where I'm at today.
So you guys, and I remember when I talked to Anthony Boone recently, said that you would used to watch film with your dad after games. I know he was your high school coach, but how often would you watch film with him, even in high school?
Yeah, a lot. We would always watch film. We'd come home and we'd put it on the TV, and we'd watch a lot of film. But it's just an awesome way to, we kind of have, our life at home, and then we can also watch film together too. So he was awesome about that, and he knew when to turn the football off and not worry about it. But it was awesome.
Well, and what did you learn from him through all that?
Yeah, he taught me a lot. He studied the game a lot. Obviously he didn't play. My dad didn't play quarterback, but he studied it a lot, and he put a lot of time and effort into it, and he just tried to do everything he could to make me the best player I could be. And I'm just ever grateful for all the time that he put into it, and all the sacrifices he made to get me to where I am.
You get that demeanor from him? Are you that even keel demeanor? Is that from him?
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of just how he raised me to be. And no matter how things are going, whether they're going good or going bad, I always stay the same. And it's always about what's next. It's not about what just happened, whether it was good or bad. It's all about the next task at hand, and always staying focused on what the main goal is.
When you were a kid, though, I coached my kids, and I coached a lot of kids. Kids tend to get a little bit riled up sometimes. Were there times where you had to kind of calm you down, that you had to learn a lesson, like, oh, I got too crazy here or anything like that? Or were you always kind of like this?
Maybe when I was really young, but honestly, as long as I can remember, this is kind of how I've always been. I've always, been the way I am in every sport. I played a lot of sports growing up, and I just, I love playing games, and I'm super competitive, and I love to win. So I'm always just super focused on the goal at hand. And that's just how I've been for as long as I can remember.
One of the things, and it's funny because I remember just in reading up on you after you got drafted and just more about you over the last year or so, one of the stories was from high school where I think you came off the field, you had thrown a touchdown pass left-handed.
Oh, yeah.
So your coach was like, you were so matter of fact, like, yeah, they pinned me, so I had to throw it left-handed, and you just walked away. Like it was no big deal. Do you remember that?
Yeah, no, I remember those plays. There was a lot of plays in high school that I made, and it was just a lot of fun. High school, some of my favorite memories playing football.
But I think your coach was amazing. It was more so that you made the play, but it was just how unfazed you were by
Oh
making
yeah,
it. That part.
yeah. I always try to stay chill. Whether I made a crazy play or made a really bad play, I always try to stay the same. And it's just kind of how I've always been, and how I'll continue to be.
And your dad's also Korean. So what does that Korean heritage mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot to me. My dad's half Korean. My grandma, she was full Korean. And it just means a lot. Everyone on that side of my family means the world to me, and it's just super cool to have something like that because you don't see a lot of Korean American football players. Obviously there are a couple, but it is something that's cool to me. It kind of makes me a little different. But yeah, it definitely does mean a lot to me.
And and like you said, I mean, I think it was Kyler Murray is there, and I think Kyle Hamilton, I believe, is as well. And so, is that a big deal? How big a deal has that been to you through your career? Is it something that you get more in touch with as you get older?
Yeah, it's kind of something that has kind of I've kind of it has gotten more in touch with me as I've gotten older. I start to really kind of take a step back and kind of start to think about more like about my family and my career and heritage. And it's just something that really, when I was younger, I didn't pay too much attention to. But now that I'm older, it's something that I definitely think is really cool. And definitely something that I want people to know, something that I want people to know about me.
And your grandmother's influence and all that.
Yeah, yeah. My grandma. She meant the world to me. Unfortunately, we lost her last year. But she meant the world to me. And just the way that she was so good to us growing up, to me and my brother and sister and my cousin. She was awesome, and just always she's from Korea. So I always just want to carry that on in her legacy.
But she lived over here with over here though, right? And you were pretty close to her.
Yeah, I mean, I lived like 10 minutes from her growing up,
Oh,
so she was over here. She's been over here my whole life, and so it was just super cool to have her in my life, and she just grew up so much differently in a different country than how we grew up here. So it was just super cool to kind of have that perspective. So it was awesome.
and if I remember right, you lost her about a month before your first start. So,
Yeah.
how hard, I mean, obviously, listen, anybody who's lose a parent, grandparent, it's always hard, but to lose her right before that start, and what did that start mean to you coming off that month?
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, it was a tough time losing her. And it was unexpected, so it really was hard. But once I got that opportunity to play, I told myself that everything I do, I try to make not only her but everyone in my family proud. And obviously, she was heavy on my heart that day, and everything I try to do is to make her proud. And she would always tell me that she wanted me to go accomplish my dreams. That's what she would always tell me to do, and she always was so supportive. So everything that I do, I try to honor her.
And then when you talk about maybe getting more in touch with the Korean roots, what are there things you're doing in particular? Or is it more just talking to people, reading? What is it that anything in particular that you're doing to kind of either learn more or become more a part of that for who you are?
Yeah. Obviously, I think it's much harder now that my grandma's gone,
Right.
because she was really the only one in my family that has had that experience over there in Korea. But I think the next thing up for me is I want to visit over there in South Korea. I want to take a trip over there. We wanted to kind of take a family trip before she passed, but we'll definitely there's a lot of people in my family that would love to go over there. So that's what's next on my list. I want to take a trip over there. So maybe next off season or something, we'll try to make that happen.
And with your dad, how often do you guys still talk? And when you talk now, is he still, I don't want to say coaching you, but is he still analyzing your games with you or for you?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit. I mean, we talk a good amount. We talk on the phone a couple of times a week. And he'll just ask me how it's going, and if I need advice on a certain situation or something, he'll help me there. But we're not necessarily watching as much film together, just because he's back home now. But no, he's always there if I ever have a question for him or something that I'm going through.
But he's also he also knows your game very well. So he's going to see like, oh, Sam's doing this. He could, you know what I mean? Are there little things that he might pick up on that even, your other coaches may not, just because he's watched you your whole life play?
Yeah, for sure. He sees things in me that other people can't, just because he knows me better than anyone else does. And he's watched me grow up my whole life, and he's watched me play. So after every game, he'll usually give me his opinion after every game and what he thinks and things that he think I could have done better.
So he's like the media.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's just like the media, just like you guys. But no, I mean he always gives his opinion and always tries to help me get better.
And then with the Soul Juice, what are you doing with Soul Juice? And tell people what it is.
Yeah, so Soul Juice is a sports drink. It's a newer sports drink, and it's made with only 3 ingredients. So it's water, Korean pear juice, and lemon juice. So it's very clean. It's much cleaner than every other sports drink out there. So it's very healthy for you. It tastes good. And it's made with predominantly Korean pears. So that's where it's kind of cool for me to partner with them. And I'm actually an equity partner with the company. So it's really cool. We're actually hitting Costco pretty soon on the West Coast. It's not much on the East Coast. We're trying to grow it more to the East Coast. So yeah, it's a super cool partnership. It's a super cool brand and super cool company. And it's just another way for me to kind of show my Korean heritage and partner with a company like that.
And that's SEOULjuice.com, just for people who want to go there. To be clear,
Right.
Listen, like I used to live in Centerville. There's a pretty big Korean contingent over there too. So, there's a big Korean, influence in Northern Virginia. So, which I'm sure you may see as you get into. How would you wrap up just a couple minutes on football, and then I'll get you out of here. How would you look at your spring and assess your spring for where you want to be and where you think you are?
Yeah, I thought it was a good spring. I thought I did some good things, and I thought the main goal I had in the spring was I wanted to become really, really comfortable with the offense. And I feel like I did that, and I feel like I'm in a really good place going into camp. I feel like it wasn't the cleanest spring in practice every single day, but I think there was some mistakes that I made that I needed to make, and some things that I can improve on. And sometimes you have to make a mistake to learn from it. And so I think I definitely learned a lot this spring. I think I did some good things, put some good things on film, and got some good chemistry going with the guys. So I feel really good where I'm at this point. I'm gonna spend a lot of time this summer focusing, going back and going through all the information that we learned, and trying to get my body in the best shape I can going into fall camp. And I feel like I'm in a really good place.
I think one of the things that the coaches like is that you know how to self-correct. And then, I know they've brought up examples to me of like, oh, well, he was a little late on this play, but he still got it. So like it's just kind of it's an example of the progression where maybe you're late, but you're still seeing it. And that's what they wanted to see. So do you remember some examples of those self-corrections where they come up to you, like even EB might come up to you and he's like, I know what I did. And then he's like, okay, we're good to go. Do you remember anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's always plays here and there where maybe I kind of stopped looking at something and got to the backside of the progression when I could have, waited on it a little longer and let it develop a little longer. But there's always little plays here and there that once kind of the play's over, you kind of know, like, dang, I could have done this, could have done that. But it's been awesome, man. We have a great coaching staff. EP's done a really good job of bringing in some good guys on the offense side of the ball, and it's been a lot of fun. I feel like I've learned a lot. But for me, I mean, I want to be perfect. So I'm always chasing perfection. So I'm super excited to get back to it.
So 2 more things. Where do you feel you made the biggest stride through the spring?
Yeah, I just think I'm more comfortable with the offense and getting more comfortable with the speed of the NFL game. Obviously, because I was here last year and got to I practiced some, but I didn't get a full season of playing. So getting more comfortable with that, and I feel like I've made a lot of strides, and I feel like I'm learning what windows I can kind of fit throws into and how fast the guys are playing. But really, I think the main thing is I've become really, really comfortable with the offense. And at first, it kind of seemed like a really wordy system, and it was kind of a lot at first. But now I think that's one of the easier parts, and it's something I really don't even worry about. So I really feel good about where I'm at.
And people, you forget, like, you guys, you're facing a really good defense every day, and that defense is playing fast. The other thing is with EB, there was a one time in practice we watched, like, he yanks the first team offense after 2 plays. And like, and I think he adds a lot of energy. So when he does something like that, how do you guys process that? And, what's the message that you get from, do you remember that sequence where he pulled you after 2 plays?
Yeah. He pulled the whole group off, but I think, what EB is trying to do is he's trying to set a standard, and he's trying to set a very high standard. And, that's what we want. We want someone to come here and hold us accountable. And we we want to hold each other accountable as well. But that's what we want. We want to be coached hard, and that's what he's given us. He wants us. He wants what's best for us, and we're completely bought into what he's trying to do. And we've enjoyed working with him.
Yeah, it seems like your timing and rhythm is really going pretty well. You agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're definitely hitting a good rhythm and getting to a good rhythm offensively. So it's gonna be a lot of fun moving forward.
Got anything special planned for your dad for Father's Day?
Yeah, I think we'll probably play some golf.
Is he up there? Or are you going to be down there?
I'll be down there.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll definitely probably get out and play a little golf and have a little fun.
You competitive with him with that?
Yeah, I mean, he's got some work to do to compete with me a little bit.
All right, very good.
But no, he says he's been playing well, so I haven't played with him in a couple of months, so we'll see if he's been telling the truth.
There you go, Sam. Thanks a lot. And if you anything else you want to add about the Korean heritage or even the soul juice?
Yeah, no, I mean, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, soul juice. We're definitely gonna try and make its way over here to the East Coast, and so if you ever see it, give it a try. It's really good stuff.
And can they get it online?
Yeah, you can get it online. I know you can buy it off Amazon.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely check it out. It's very healthy for you, and it's definitely one of the cleaner sports drinks out there.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate it. Have a good break.
Yeah, appreciate it, John.
Thanks to Sam for joining me, and thank you, as always, for listening. I'll be back with another episode on Monday, so I'll talk to you next time.